imagine you're a child, you're scared, you're in an unfamiliar environment. You're sitting in a hospital for a few nights due to an illness. And then a nice lady or man walks in and starts playing games with you. This is one of the services typically provided by child life professionals who their goal is to help children and families to feel more comfortable while they're away from home and dealing with medical issues, but they also have a number of other different roles. My name is Emma Kirby, and today I will be talking about child life services, what they provide for children, and how they were affected by COVID-19. By the end of my speech, you should have a firm grasp on what child life services are, how children benefit from them, and how COVID-19 affected child life services. So, we're going to review what the child life services were like before the pandemic, how they changed during the pandemic, and what they are like now that the pandemic is over. So now that you've heard my main 3 points, let's start addressing them, shall we? So, child life specialists are experts in child development. They promote effective coping through play, preparation, education, and self-expression activities, according to St. Louis Children's Hospital. They provide a number of services for children, such as allowing them access and running different play areas and activities for the children to experience and have fun to promote normal development. They also help the children to cope and prepare psychologically for any procedures they may have to go through while they are in the hospital, according to the American Academy of Pediatrics. So, there was a case study done on the impact during a vaccine trial run by Roy et al. And during the trial, 74% of patients received a 1 rating for coping. This means they utilized one or more coping strategies throughout the majority of the procedure. This number is also related to the 64% of patients who received a 1 rating for the stress levels, meaning they exhibited little to no distress during the procedure. So now that you've heard what child life services were like before the pandemic, let's talk about how they were during the pandemic. So during the pandemic, they were especially important as the whole world went through uncertain times with its own difficulties and challenges. Due to COVID protocols, many services went online or were shut down, although there were some in-person programs that were up and running, though they were extremely limited, operating typically only allowing one child at a time to be seen in the playrooms or other areas, and the rooms having to be sanitized thoroughly between children. Overall, they had a number of different difficulties trying to manage and support children throughout COVID, such as financial struggles with the hospital and the program being shut down. Also, a number of staffing problems for a number of reasons, such as the education of those wishing to seek and get a job in the profession. So let's discuss what child life services are like nowadays. So nowadays, some hospitals have reintroduced pre-COVID procedures and protocols, although there are many persisting struggles from COVID-19, such as shrinking departments. Departments are not getting the same funding as they need to be, which leads to a lack of resources. In addition, there's limited staffing and hiring difficulties due to burnout, along with all of the education requirements and experience needed to go into the field, which leads to difficulty hiring new staff. So, after hearing the impact on the COVID-19 had after on the services nowadays, let's move on to our conclusion. So we covered what the services were like before the pandemic, how they would change to be adapted to the new times and regulations of the pandemic, and how they are persisting nowadays that the pandemic is over. So I would like to ask you to volunteer at one of your local hospitals that has a children's life program. You may be wondering, I don't know if a hospital has a children's life program. To do this, search Emotional Safety Initiative online, click the first link, then click on Locate Child Services. It will take you to a page that looks like this. If you scroll down on that page, you'll get to a map in which you can zoom in and locate ones in the area, or search by where you live, and you can find a hospital with child life services near you. Or if this is too much to ask, you can look up the Association of Child Life Professionals and donate to them, and make a donation, as they will ensure that the money goes to supporting and maintaining and making new child life programs in hospitals. Thank you very much for your time.